Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. In this video we're going to be looking at the latest Super Micros from HyperMegaTech. Let's have a look at them. Okay guys, so the latest Super Micros, these are brand new for 2025. I guess they are meant as stocking fillers, so we're going to have a look at them. They're like Super Micro keychains from HyperMegaTech. Obviously they do the Super Pockets as well, part of the Blaze sort of group who make the Evercade products. So we're going to have a look at them. I believe these are $19.99. I purchased them myself from Funstock and just decided to get all four of them. So we'll have a look at all four, we'll play through them and I'll let you know what they're actually like. So let's look at them one at a time. Look at the boxes first. Okay, so this is number one. This is the Asteroids Super Micro. From Atari, so it's a keychain gamer as they're sort of titling it, and it's got 3 games as it says on it. So we've got Gravatar and Yar's Revenge included as well. As you can see here, it's obviously numbered number 1, so I'm assuming they'll probably maybe make more of these rather than the initial 3. We've got Play 3 classic Atari games, Asteroids, Gravatar and Yar's Revenge, and it's obviously the little keychain built-in games. Colour screen requires 3 AAA batteries. That seems quite a lot, and obviously you can scan this if you want some more information about it. Anyway, next we've got the Centipede Super Micro. This is also from Atari. It's also got 3 games on it. This is number 2 in the series, if you like. We've got Centipede, Millipede and Crystal Castles. An interesting selection, and it's pretty much the same as before. Obviously it takes 3 AAA batteries. Not entirely sure why it's rated 12 plus. Seems a bit of a strange rating on the back, I guess, but obviously anybody under 12 might swallow that keychain or something. Who knows? Anyway, let's have a look at the other 2. Number 3 in the range, we've got Space Invaders. This is obviously from Taito. This is officially licensed products, which is obviously what Blaze HyperMegaTech are all about. It's got Space Invaders. I think it's actually the only game that's on it, which is quite surprising. So you would think this one is probably the poorest value out of all of these sort of Super Micros. Not sure why we couldn't have had a couple of the versions of Space Invaders. Maybe there is, but we'll soon have a look. I believe they are arcade versions that we have on these. But I guess I will find out soon enough. Same things as before, but again, this one is only 1 game. And finally, we've got one from Data East. This is the Burger Time Super Micro, which I think has 3 games as well. Yeah, this one also has 3 games. So back to the 3 games, we've got Karate Champ Inside Pocket, and obviously Burger Time as well. So that's interesting. I'm not sure how well that's going to come across on this small screen, because obviously it is, graphically it is pretty small. Okay, so I would recommend opening these boxes as normal down at the bottom here rather than sliding it out the top. I just find sometimes it's easier. I think trying to slide out the top, you're probably going to rip the box. Okay, there's also a little pamphlet that comes with it. Let's have a quick look at it. I guess it's just looking at all the Super Micros that's been released so far. I wonder if they're going to make any more of them. I guess it will depend on the actual sales. So obviously you've got the Super Pockets that are detailed below, and you've got the 4 Super Micros Keychain Gamer as they're sort of titling it, and there's a little bit of information about how to turn on the unit, start game. Pretty self-explanatory stuff, to be honest, and that's it. Reboot, turn off and on again immediately to return to the game menu. So basically it's like a quick switch on and off to return to the main menu. That's interesting. And there's a volume switch and battery cover. So let's have a look at the unit now. Okay, this is definitely smaller than I was expecting it, to be honest. Hard to say. It looks like about 2 inches high by maybe 1.5 inches wide by the looks of it. And obviously it's got a sort of protection or a sort of screen over here just to protect it, and it's got your keychain here on the side. It looks more like a safety clip than a keychain, to be honest. That's kind of weird. So it basically just slips over like that, so that's interesting. Hopefully that's sustainable over time and doesn't fall apart and basically fall off. So you've got your volume button at the side and the on off slidey switch at the top here. and you've got a small D-pad. They actually seem nice and soft. They seem alright, and you've got a very small start and select button that seemed quite tricky to get at. Not sure where the speaker is at. It must be on the back. Yeah, it's on the back up the top here. So what we'll do now is power it up. We'll need to unscrew this, put the 3 AAA batteries in, and have a look at it. So a little bit of a size comparison. This is one of the Tetris keychains that I purchased a month or 2 ago, and you can see it's obviously a lot smaller than even that. It's probably about size comparable to the Atari one that I purchased, which was about the same size, I would guess. And just in a quick comparison to the Super Pocket. So looking at the size difference to a Super Pocket, it's almost about half the size of a Super Pocket. Obviously a lot of people were complaining that Super Pocket is too small, so obviously this will not be for everyone, the keychain that is. First off, we'll probably have to peel off the cover. It's at the top here. It's not really poking up very well, so I'm going to have to peel it off. Okay, so try and zoom in a little bit. You can see the screen. It looks alright, but let's get it turned on. I've got the batteries in. And here we go. So we'll get a choice of 3 games. See what turn the sound up a little bit. It's on the left hand side. Not sure how many different volumes it's got. Yeah, it's probably like on and off basically, or maybe 3 different settings. So let's have a look at the Asteroids. So yeah, it's pretty small to see. Hopefully you can make that out okay. Press the start button to get going. 1 player. Oh. It does sound okay. Let's have a quick mess with this. Yeah. Well, it's maybe got 4 different settings with the sound. Just having a little play with that. Maybe more. Yes, roughly about 4 different settings. Yeah, it does look. I think it's the arcade version. Maybe it's not. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I need to double check that. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's the 7800 version. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it's obviously not the arcade version. I obviously thought it was. But it's really nice, to be honest. The buttons are quite responsive. The D-pad feels quite nice. I actually really like the D-pad. The buttons are, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, very responsive. Surprisingly very playable. Obviously it is a very, very small screen, so if you've got bad eyesight it's not really going to work for you. You can probably not make out the score too well. It is a little bit small. I guess, like me, I'm getting a little bit older. My eyesight is getting worse as I get older, but yeah, it plays pretty nice. So let's see how we get out of this. I believe you turn the switch on and off very quickly. Yeah, and it goes back to the main screen like that. That's an odd way to get back. It would have been better if it was like pressing the start and select the button at the same time. Let's have a quick look at Gravatar. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember how to play Gravatar, so please forgive me. It's been such a long time since I've played this. I'm not entirely sure which version this is either. Is it the 2600 version? Is it the 7800 version? I will have to double check that. Clearly not the arcade versions that I initially thought it was. Maybe some of the other units have arcade versions of this. Yeah, this one's a little bit trickier to control. Yeah, this one's a bit weird. Okay, let's come off of that. And Yar's Revenge, definitely an old favourite of mine from the 2600 days. Let's see. Yeah, it seems to be running really fast. I'm not sure which version this is. It doesn't feel it. The 2600 version. Was there another version of this? Yeah, it's definitely not. The 2600 version is running really fast as well. Okay, I'll just double check there. This was only actually released on the Game Boy Color and the 2600, but this does not feel like the 2600 version of the game. feels certainly a lot faster. Maybe this is actually the Game Boy Color version. Not entirely sure. It's not actually clear because it doesn't really tell you. It's definitely not the 2600 version. Sounds very different and plays very different as well. It's much faster. Yeah, I don't know. Not entirely sure. I don't think it doesn't really say on the box which version we're actually playing here, but interesting. Yeah, maybe it is the Game Boy Color version. Who knows? Interesting. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the other micros as well. Let's have a look at the rest of them. Okay, let's have a look at the Centipede version. Okay, so this is the Centipede version. This has also got 3 games. Obviously the same button sort of layout, same idea, obviously a different colour. This one's obviously green and it's got the Centipede logo there. So let's get the batteries into this one and we'll get it turned on and play the games again. Oh, better take this off. Obviously helps. I wish that the sort of little flap would get up a little bit easier. It just seems a bit tricky to get off. Right, so we've got Centipede, Millipede and Crystal Castles. Obviously your guess will be as good as mine which versions they actually are. So let's play Centipede first. Not sure already. Nope, I haven't got a clue which version this is. Clearly not the arcade version. Not the 2600 version either, as far as I can tell. But it does play really nice. The D-pad is very responsive. Sounds okay. I mean, the sound is what it is. I think you have to bear in mind, I guess these things are just a novelty, maybe for a quick play if you're travelling, you're on the bus, or maybe at work, at lunch or something, who knows. A nice little novelty piece, I guess. That's what it's all about. It's not meant as a serious gaming device, but it is quite good fun. This is quite good, quite enjoyable to actually play. The D-pad is responsive, the buttons are responsive, and they're nice and soft. They're not too clicky, so it's not going to be too loud. You're not going to annoy anybody playing this. And I guess, unfortunately, yeah, there is no headphone jack, so it's either if you are on a loud sort of bus, you probably want to play with no sound at all. So you don't disturb anyone, but that is what it is. So next up we've got Millipede. Again, not entirely sure. Maybe it's the 7800 versions or something else. I'm not entirely sure. This obviously plays a little bit like Centipede, although it's got this sort of bar at the bottom. And yeah, sometimes it is a little bit hard to see what's going on. I say this is probably a little bit trickier than Centipede is. It's okay. Again, I'm not entirely sure which versions these are. So guys, if you do know, please let me know in the comments. Definitely not arcade, definitely not 2600, so I'm going to assume it's something else completely. Most likely 7800 maybe? Maybe. Okay, and finally we've got Crystal Castles. Yeah, this looks more like the 2600 version, but yeah, not entirely sure, maybe not. Now this one doesn't control great on the D-pad. The Barney Bear is just constantly getting stuck. Yeah, that's not ideal. Yeah, that doesn't feel good at all. I'm going to have to double check which versions these are. It would be nice if they actually said, but yeah, this is a bit rough. This doesn't feel good in this D-pad, to be honest. That's interesting that they've actually chose this to actually play on here. A very strange choice, if I'm being honest with you. Doesn't feel great on the D-pad at all. Anyway, let's move on to the next Super Micro. Okay, so on to number 3. This is the Space Invaders sort of Super Micro. Same sort of idea. I think I like the design of this one the best so far, but unfortunately, yeah, this one only does have one game. So obviously it's the yellow, red, and the sort of front sort of facing Space Invaders detail, which does look really, really cool. Interesting. Hopefully this does feel quite sturdy. Yeah, I think it would take quite an effort to actually get that completely off. Basically, without the batteries, it is quite light, but add a few batteries to it, adds a little bit more weight, almost doubles the weight to it, I would say. Pretty much, but yeah, same idea. I think colour scheme wise, I like this one the best so far. But anyway, let's have a look. Is it only one game? Let's have a look at it. Okay, so basically just boots straight into Space Invaders. I'm not sure which version they are. It does look a little bit like the arcade version, but I may be completely wrong. I'm not a complete expert. Nah, probably not the arcade version. Sounds a little bit off. Again, not entirely clear which version it is. You maybe know better than me. Sounds a bit off, to be honest. I don't really like that sound. It is a bit annoying. Absolutely crazy that there is only one game on that, and they couldn't have maybe lumped a few different versions of Space Invaders onto that. So really quite surprising. I guess if you like Space Invaders, it's a nice little novelty, but it's not the best value compared to the other sort of super micros that are available. So yeah, you're really going to have to be a big fan of Space Invaders to want this. I think ideally it would be maybe nice to have priced this one a little bit cheaper in comparison. That would probably have been a better idea, to be honest. Okay, the final one that we're looking at, this is number 4. This is the Burger Time version. Seems to use the similar shell to the previous one, almost the same sort of colour of yellow. It looks alright. Obviously it's Burger Time. There's 3 games on this one, gladly. Okay, the Data East Burger Time Super Micro. So we've got, again, 3 games. We've got Burger Time. Let's have a bash at that. Now, obviously, it's not the arcade version that they've put on here, which I initially thought. I don't know why I thought that, but I did think it was the Burger Time, the arcade. But yeah, this could it be the NES version or some other version? Maybe slightly too colourful. I don't know, I'm being a bit harsh there. Still got the sticky ladder syndrome. Yeah, it's really hard to see at times on this. Yeah, it seems okay for what it is, I guess. Sounds alright. I mean, it sounds like Burger Time. If you're a big fan of Burger Time, you might get more out of this than I do. But yeah, still, you've got the same sticky ladder syndrome. Kinda sounds like the NES version. I might be wrong. Anyway, let's have a look at the other games. So basically switch it on and switch it off, or switch it off then back on really quickly and it'll come back on. Strange way to actually get back to the games. So we've got Karate Champ. Interesting, it's the option of 2 players here. That seems madness. Right, definitely the NES versions that are on this one. Maybe it was NES versions of the other games that I was playing. Oops. Yeah, I'm obviously really bad at this. There's a bit of a buzz in there. Is that in the game as normal? Or is that a problem with the unit? Yeah, that's not good. Let's see if it's that. Is that normal? Doesn't sound normal, does it? Yeah, not really my favourite version of this game at all. Yeah, not really great. I'd rather not play this one. So let's have a look at Side Pocket. Yeah, this is most likely NES versions that are on this particular unit. And yeah, trying to read that is really difficult for me. It's pretty blurry. That could be an age thing. I mean, you might be able to see this better than me, but for me, a very odd choice. I mean, I like Side Pocket, but yeah, the graphically it's going to be a bit of a strain in the eyes to see that. Yeah, you can see that the text is quite tricky to actually see. At least this one does sound a lot better. The Karate Champ just sounded dreadful. Maybe that's how it is in the NES version. I can't really remember. It's been a while since I played it. Okay guys, so that's our look at the Super Micros. Just a very quick look and brief playthrough of them. They're alright, they are what they are. Just basically a little toy, sort of stocking filler thing for Christmas. I think $19.99 is maybe a little bit steep. Might have been better if they were priced a little bit more aggressively at $14.99. Perhaps they will go down in price at some point. I mean, they are what they are. They're nice enough. Will they be alright as a keychain? I think it's obviously a bit bulky to be putting in your pocket, attached to your keys. It is what it is. Maybe you would attach it to something else like a rucksack or something, and that might be more, obviously a bit more preferable. But that screen will probably end up getting scratched at some point if you were doing that. It is kind of plasticky at the end of the day though, so I'm pretty sure there'll be scratch resistance to a point. So it'll be interesting to put this into practice and obviously have it dangling about and getting bashed about and see how it actually stands up maybe in a month's time and see what it's like. I'm pretty sure that'll get wore down at some point, but for what they are, they're all right. I think if you're looking for some stocking fillers for your partner, your kids or whatever, they're actually okay. Not the best value. Space Invaders only has one game. The others have 3. They play okay. Not amazing. They're just okay. I'd say they're pretty reasonable for what they are. Obviously not meant for serious game players, just as a stocking filler. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching. We'll catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.